Hey, welcome to Comic Artist Pro Secrets, my YouTube channel. I am Ethan Van Sciver, comic book artist for 25 years, and here now to talk to you guys and look at your portfolios, offer you tips, give you a little guidance. This series is called Brutally Honest Portfolio Reviews. I've found that when you get your portfolio reviewed at a convention, and I'm guilty of this myself, people are not so invested in telling you everything that you need to know. Oftentimes you'll get a portfolio in front of you, and you'll just kind of half-heartedly give a little bit of a tip. There's just, for most people who are reviewing portfolios, there's just really no incentive to get into it with you and to talk to you about how to grow, to tell you where you're going wrong, and to spend a little time, invest a little time in helping someone. I mean, the upside is very small, and the downside is huge. It's like someone could walk away from you and say, "That guy was really mean to me. I hate that dude." So basically, Brutally Honest Portfolio Reviews. I've decided to ask people, hey, look, if you want me to be honest about your portfolio, and you're not going to get your feelings hurt, you're going to take this in the spirit in which it's intended. This is my POV, my advice on how you can grow, hopefully quickly, and I will promise to take the time to tell you everything that I think about your work, as long as you agree not to get your feelings hurt. So, listen, I'm overwhelmed with submissions. So apparently this is the kind of thing that people want. People kind of would like to have their portfolios reviewed carefully and scrutinized and given proper attention so that they can receive the feedback they need to grow. And for me, it's great. I mean, people are watching these videos and responding, and it's doing good things for my channel. So we're helping each other out. This is Bobby. Bobby says he's a recent college graduate, and so he's still kind of a young guy, and he's working on comics. I mean, apparently he did get reviewed by Klaus Janson, and he says Klaus Janson tore him apart, but that was good for him. He says he keeps the page that Klaus Janson critiqued harshly on his wall, and he looks at it often and just reminds himself of where he was and how he needs to grow. So Bobby he's got the right attitude about this, and he sent me I think 4 pages. One of them isn't really completed yet, but that's okay. We can get an idea of where Bobby is from this. All right, so Bobby has decided that he's going to draw a suburban street fight here. So he's done a pretty extensive bit of background to show us where we are. I mean, this looks like anybody's neighborhood, and we've got some spectators, some creepy looking spectators. What is up with this dude? Is that a dude? What's up with this dude? Yeah, these are some spooky looking people. And these guys here, they murdered their family. I think they're brothers. I think they're a little cult there. Probably because they're gonna stand back and watch these two chunks, very built guys here. I would call them chunks. They're going to fight. They're going to fist fight. I don't know why they're mad at each other. There's no lettering to talk about that, but that's fine. We don't need to know. This is very good. I mean, it looks like he did a little reference here for the back muscles of this guy. Good lighting. You kind of fall apart here in this on this arm, yeah, we've got a number of anatomy problems here. I mean, most of this is just yeah. I mean, it's rough, Bobby. You need to practice. It's very stiff. Your figures are very blocky, and you do kind of need to. I would recommend that you go ahead and get some bodybuilding magazines where you can see lots of pictures of muscles and anatomy, and really work from those and work carefully. I say it over and over again on this channel. I talk about how so much of drawing is just these kind of mental measurements that you make in your head. You kind of will say, well, I know the distance between the eye and the nose is this, and the distance between the nose and the mouth is this, and you're constantly making these measurements to get things correct. But the problem is that if you have no place to start, now no foundation from which to work on, no base of knowledge, those measurements don't really exist in your head. So you really are at some point going to need to settle down and get some photo reference or do life drawing. Life drawing is preferable. I mean, especially since you said you recently graduated college. I don't know if there's any kind of life drawing program in your community where you can go and just you'll have models in front of you and you can draw them. I mean, it's a really, really good way to just learn how to draw human beings. Your people here are clearly kind of video game influenced, and that's cool. But I mean, the guys who draw those characters, they did all of that. They did the life drawing, they do photo reference, and then they exaggerate from there. It feels like, Bobby, you're exaggerating from an exaggeration. And, it's like a photocopy machine. The more often you photocopy a photocopy, the more distorted it's going to become until it's no longer recognizable as coming from the original. All right, so your figures need work, but let's avoid that right now. Let's skip that. That's a given. And let's talk about your storytelling, and let's talk about things that you're doing right. First of all, Bobby, your perspective is pretty bang on here. You did a good job. Here's the horizon line right here. Basically now we're this is almost as if we're sitting in a tree and watching the fight. We're looking down on these people. This is our eye line here. So I don't know where we are. Maybe we're standing on top of a truck, kind of. That's our point of view. And we're looking down. What you can do is you can sort of count. So let's say the horizon line is here. You kind of go, okay, so basically we're about 1, 2, 3, 4 heads from the horizon line, okay? So the size of his head, you repeat it about 4 times up, 2, 3, 4, and you're maybe 3.5, and you're at the horizon line. If everyone's as tall as this guy, and everyone is not as tall as this guy's a big dude. So you can basically do the same thing here, where you can go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. All right, so basically the perspective is pretty good here. This guy might be a little bit low. I'd actually put his head more up here. His head, he's bigger, but he will also work with this perspective according to the horizon line. Remember that the horizon line is where the sky meets the ground. Okay, I should lower this. It's where the earth meets the sky, and that would be right about here. So basically, if you were to take this house away and take everything away, and you were just to look at the land stretching out into infinity, it would just kind of be right here, and then the sun would be right here. All right, so that's the horizon line, and then everyone kind of first of all, the horizon line is the viewer's eye line, which means we, the viewer, who are sitting here watching this scene, we're sitting up here. This is where our eyes are. We're looking down, but also everything in the scene is kind of relative to the horizon and each other. So yeah, they're all going to sort of their placement on the image they're going to all respond in the same way to the horizon line, as I just demonstrated. Our house is a little flat here. I know it's interesting. It's like you've got these perspective lines. You're doing a 1-point perspective, where right here is your vanishing point, kind of, right? Is that right? Yeah, right about here. Okay. The house isn't really responding to that at all. I don't know, the house is kind of flat sitting here. Oh, I should get this down a little bit so you guys can see. The house is just kind of sitting here. It is not, there is no perspective on this house. the trees, you have kind of oddly shaped trees. I'm sorry, Bobby, you're gonna have to get some reference, and you're gonna have to spend more time. If you're gonna do trees in the background, you're gonna have to actually draw them. They can't just be shapes that don't make sense. This is no tree looks like this. You are going to have to get photo reference and do your job, Bobby. Do your job. You've got kind of a half drawn house over here that's not really in there. I get the feeling from your pages that they're not really finished. You kind of give up at some point and move on. Yeah, Bobby, these are your pages, so you can craft them to look any way that you want. If the scene that you're choosing has too much extra background detail, you can shoot it in a different way. Who wants to draw 3 suburban houses in a row? I don't know. Tighten it in some way. Also, just a broad criticism. This is all very straight up and down. It makes for a kind of flat scene where this is a straight on, dead on scene. Might be interesting if you tilted it a little bit. So this guy here is kind of like this in the corner. You look up, there's this guy here, and he's got the mob all around him. It just makes for more of a kind of vertigo feeling of danger that might have improved this panel, this shot. Yeah, the shadows. This is something that is going to recur in your work. Oh, the other thing I want to say about the trees is, okay, so the other day I talked about separating foreground from background. Basically, the way that you're choosing to do that is kind of effective, except the trees screw you up. You've got kind of black right here. You've got gray right here in your midground. Okay, so this is the first thing you're noticing. This is closest to us. Then behind him, is the the midground, which is these guys, and these guys are kind of heavily detailed. There's a lot of detail on them, which makes them feel kind of gray. The overall tone of the work on them is gray. And in the background, you've got these kind of loosely sketched in houses and bushes and trees, and they end up looking white. They recede because of the lack of detail. Until you get these black trees, you want these trees silhouetted out. Black is going to screw everything up. You're going to have to actually draw the details in these trees, I'm afraid, very lightly, to keep them quote-unquote white, okay? That's the background tone is white. Very, very, kind of broken up and, not very detailed. You've got a black tree here. I know it seems like you don't want to detail the trees. You don't want to draw them. You got it. It won't take long. It won't take long at all. The houses are the problem. Okay. We'll talk about light sources coming up. All right, so now the fight begins. Okay, your backgrounds. At this point, it looks like you're trying to draw kind of there's a set of steps leading up to a house. This is an action sequence. You can go ahead and drop the backgrounds out. Essentially, in the last page, you establish the hell out of where they are. All right, we know where they are now. And really all you have to do is put kind of, you just have to establish things in the viewer's mind. So the viewer knows where this is taking place. When the guy takes a swing, all this background detail that you want to do but you don't want to do, it gets in the way. People start to focus on someone's front lawn, and they're not focusing on the fact that this big, enormous dude just took a swing at this dude and didn't really hit him. It looks like he countered the punch, or he caught his arm or something like that. These dudes are huge. I'm glad they don't live in my neighborhood. These are big dudes. And they have a fan club behind them. Or one of them does. All right, so it looks like, he takes a swing, and then this guy counters. Nice punch. Another punch that knocks this guy on the ground. You're using photo reference here and there. Some of it. All right. Look, here's what I like about what you're doing. I really like your action. This is good. I follow this. I'm following this very, very clearly. I can see exactly what's happening. I don't need lettering. I don't need sound effects. You're doing a very, very good job. Just telling your little story here, your fist fight story. I think a big problem, and I'm just going to say in general, and this is going to carry on throughout what you're doing, Your figures really, really need work. They need work. You need to work on your anatomy. I don't know if you want me to redraw something here to kind of indicate where you need to go, but it's all of these figures need to be redrawn. So you will need to get photo reference. You will need to slow down. You'll need to fight these kind of preconceptions about what people look like. You've got little heads. You've got enormous pectoral muscles. The t-shirts just kind of cling to every sort of, t-shirts actually cover things up a little bit. And I know you want him to look tough. I know you want to see his abs and everything and all that, but you'll still, you can put a t-shirt on him and it'll still kind of, we'll believe you that he's fit underneath there just by the shape of the way the t-shirt hangs off of him. You don't need to show every fiber and sinew of this guy's pectoral muscles. But yeah, I worry about stuff like this. I can see you're struggling with faces. But at the same time, you're sitting here and you're doing a good job. You're telling a nice storyboarded event here. This panel, I can tell you got some help from. Either you posed for it or you found it somewhere. That's good. That's fine. Backgrounds are still in the way. Get rid of them. You know what? I would tell you this. I would say that drop out the backgrounds until the action stops. So boom, 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 and then he's on the ground. Then I'd put the backgrounds back. And by the way, I know this would be a more difficult panel to draw, but I would actually, once this guy's on the ground, I would put the backgrounds back and the people who are watching and show their reactions to this guy getting knocked down to the ground. All right, let's see here. For some reason, this page is not loading. Be right back. Okay, sorry, I had my iPad in airplane mode, and these pages hadn't finished loading onto my onto it yet, so had to take it out of airplane mode. Okay, so here's the next page. We have a great close-up of this guy. Look at his black eye. He's bleeding from his nose. He's kind of still smiling throughout it all. Are you done yet, coward? Good lighting. I like the shadow here. That's nice. His eyes, my friend. This is, what's interesting about drawing other human beings, as you learn, people do this with women all the time too. You draw women and people tend to exaggerate the features that they actually look at the most. And I'm not just talking about, T and A, as, I'm talking about facial features. I'm talking about the fact that when we look at women in the eyes, what are the features on a woman's face that we like the most? We like their eyes, we like their lips, and these are, features that make women more attractive or less attractive, but there are certain shapes and things to eyes and lips that we will kind of exaggerate. And before too long, an artist will just have this woman and her head is an oval with like enormous lips and enormous eyes. And she looks like an emoji. So what we need to do is we need to kind of scale back and really think through. And this is a man, but eyes are cool. Even on a man, eyes are cool. They can express kind of anger or, like fear or bravery or all these things. And so we tend to focus on them and we want to do more with those eyes when we're drawing. These eyes are 3 times too big, Bobby. So you've got to train yourself. First of all, use photo reference. Train yourself to remember how big eyes are on a human being. Even if you're doing kind of a cartoony thing, like I think this is more like Street Fighter kind of art. You still don't want to go too far. You don't want him to look like Peter Lorre. You do want to kind of make sure that they look human. So that's going to be something you're going to need to work on. I like his little smile here. I like his broken up face. It's good. This is a good panel. This is a cool panel to look at. You just need to work on your drawing a little bit more. I see what you're doing here. I like your pull outs. You're doing some kind of cross hatching kind of thing, coming off of the black edge here and pulling into the white. That's exciting. That shows that you're, paying attention and learning a few things. This is just going to end up being a big blob of black right here. I don't know if you're going to be happy with that when it's inked. Granted, it is a black eye, but you're probably going to be working with a colorist who's going to be able to add purples and blues to that and make that look real, except you've colored it all in black for him, so he's not going to be able to do much with it. Got a close-up on a set of eyes, presumably the other guy. Again, the same problem. You're drawing eyes very, very big. And then look at these tiny little panels here. You get into this. Suddenly you become George Perez, and you're drawing tiny little panels. Another swing. Another swing. Yeah. Interesting. As your panels get smaller, your word balloons get smaller too, which isn't going to, this word balloon here versus these word balloons up here. Yeah, you should find your lettering font size and stick to it, or just don't do any lettering at all right now. It's just not something that you need to be doing. You're just penciling this. Look at this. Reaches into his pocket. Looks like he pulls out a razor. Yeah, and now he's going to use a razor on him. Yeah, these are all really cool. I like these panels. You still suffer from the same anatomy problems, but I gotta say, I like the fact that you're getting in there and you're still getting into this fight. All right, let's see, Bobby. All right, looks like we have. Oh, these are the. Okay, so this is the one guy, and then this is that creeper that was standing behind him. Nice. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this, Bobby. Google can be your friend for things like this. It looks like he's spitting something out. He says patoo. I don't know if he's spitting out a tooth or if he's spitting out blood or if he's just spitting. Go on Google and look up don't look that up. I don't know what to look up. Find photo reference of a guy spitting. That's it. I mean, you can do it and just try to get it to look normal. This is very strange. It's a very strange panel. And you can do better just with photo reference. All right, so then it looks like a guy with a gun shows up here, and I can't tell where he is. Is he on a roof looking down? He must be on a roof looking down, and then, yeah, Bobby, you lose your whole place here. I thought we were in kind of a suburban neighborhood. Now we seem to be in some kind of alleyway. This is an alley. You got a guy on the ground. You got this other dude standing over him. They're all reacting to the guy with the gun. Yeah, perspective is very boxy here. It's not a very well drawn panel, Bobby. I know that this was tough. All right, so presuming that this guy's on the roof of a suburban home, or it's got to be. I don't know what else this could be. What is this? I don't know, Bobby. You lost me. You completely lost me here, and that's not good. All right, so let's go back and look at what probably happened here. So he's over top of the guy he beat, and he spits on his body. And then all of a sudden, maybe there's a cop. Let's just say this is a cop. Hey, freeze. And he's standing on a roof. I don't know why he'd be on a roof. And he's got a gun, but he's just holding the gun kind of at ready position. This panel needs to be redrawn entirely. And you need to, I would say this. I would do it this way. I would show this guy from the front first. Okay, I would do a panel of him holding the gun. The gun has to be pointed straight at us, at the camera. And he can be saying, hey, stop it, whatever what did cops say? Freeze, right there, hold it. Yeah, in a nice panel here. So we see him, and then we could switch to this perspective, or we could switch to, we could switch to this perspective, but you've got to actually work to make it clear where this guy is. Let me see if you fix that on the next panel. No, it looks. I don't know what he's doing here. Is he firing a warning shot? Blam. Wait. Did he shoot him? No, he's shooting straight up in the air. Yeah. All right, Bobby. Your storytelling here is you've lost the plot. So you've got to go a little more careful. You've got to think about the way things are done in movies and TV. You have to make things clear. I said it before on my Twitter, and I'll say it again. I would much rather see a very difficult panel that made the story clear but is drawn badly. Okay, I'd rather see you do that than see you draw things like this, which are easier to draw but do not tell the story. So, you can always do a panel that's kind of poorly drawn, but it makes it clear what's going on. You can always fix that over time. You can always get better over time. Your storytelling instincts need to be what comes first. We need to know where this guy is, we need to know who he is, we need to know what he's doing. That needs to be made crystal clear. That means no close-ups. Stop with the close-ups. Start drawing things. And if you get it wrong, okay, you get it wrong. You don't know the perspective. The backgrounds are going to be too hard. Yeah, I understand that. Give it your best anyway. Give it your best try. Again, photographs of your friend. Go out and take photographs. Get your friends to help you. Get them to kind of stand in the street and then go take a picture of them. And that way you'll have, something to work off of. It'll really be eye-opening if you're able to do that, because suddenly everything and the way things kind of look and the way perspective works, it'll all line up in your head. I mean, you'll end up drawing things way differently than you would have otherwise, and it'll improve your life. But anyway, so badly drawn panels that tell the story are much better than well-drawn panels that do not. All right, that is my motto, Comic Artist Pro Secrets. And then I'm not sure what this is. This looks like it was going to be page 2, and then he abandoned it. Or maybe this is him redrawing page 2. I'm not sure. All right. Well, Bobby, I mean, you're a young man. You just graduated college. You got a long way to go. But I think you can do it if you keep practicing. Drawing is two things. I mean, it's a skill and it's a talent. And some people have one and not the other. You can have talent and no skill because you just never practice, or you can just be skilled and not particularly talented because, well, God didn't bless you with talent, but He did bless you with stick-to-itiveness and a desire to learn. And you could be one of those guys. You can improve your drawing. You really can. You just need to slow down a little bit. You need to have discipline to go out and get the photo reference you need. And by the way, when I say get photo reference, I just want you to use it to clue you in. I don't want you to copy photographs. People who copy photographs make very flat comic books, and you're not trying to make a very flat comic book that's based in reality, really. You're trying to make an exciting comic book that only bears passing resemblance to reality. You're trying to show two big dudes having a street fight. You can't get that effect from just taking pictures of your friends. But what you can do is you can, from photographs, you can get the sense of the way people's bodies work, their muscles, and also you can get a sense of how figures look in reaction in relation to their environment, and so on and so forth. So, all right, Bobby, I'm proud of you. You did 1, 2, 3, 4 pages of storytelling artwork. Great. Now, I want you to put this down, and I want you to start over again with something else. And I want you to go carefully and slowly, and I want you to start thinking about drawing better figures, using photo reference to do it. I want you to think about foreground, midground, background, and how you're going to break those up. You're already kind of doing that, and I think you might be doing it accidentally, but it is happening here. And I want you to think about clarity in your storytelling. That is primary. That is key. This is happening in your head. You're trying to make it happen in someone else's head too, and we can't read your mind. We actually have to have you show us what's going on. Show us where this is happening. Show us everything. And, that's what comic book storytelling is, my friend. Hey, this is Comic Artist Pro Secrets. I have been Ethan Van Sciver, and thank you so much for joining me. If you would like to have your portfolio reviewed, you can either email it to me at the address provided in the channel description, I think, or you can tweet it to me or DM it to me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @EthanVanSciver. I choose these more or less at random. I kind of just have a folder where I let them pile up. Bobby's got chosen at random today. I'm going to probably do another one too. I will choose yours. I will get to them all eventually, I'm sure. I'm doing these almost one a day. But yeah, so just send your portfolio over. Now, your responsibility is to be an adult. It's to take criticism, and it is to is to have thick skin, essentially. I'm hoping that my subscribers and the viewers will respond in kind. Your responsibility is to offer constructive criticism as well in the comments. If you offer super negative comments, your comments will be deleted. And it's really not in the spirit of what we're doing here. We're really trying to encourage each other to draw, to grow, and to meet our full potential. And I think that's what Bobby can do if he keeps practicing. I think it's what you can do too. So send your artwork over to me, and maybe you'll make it on the show. All right, thanks very much, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
In the ATL, that's my homeboy. Watch your back if you're gonna walk alone, boy. Cause everybody in the homeboys trying to get rich. You could get hit even if you know 'em, boy. We the kings of the South. Pies in the oven, grills in the mouths. Count stacks is a usual norm. College Park, Bank here where the hustle was born. So peace up and A-Town down. 4-4